it's moments. For me, I am an autistic mom, and the way that we practice self-care is very different than the way that other people, other moms even, are able to practice self-care. When we set a schedule, it doesn't mean that our schedule is going to flow the way that we anticipate it. It doesn't mean that when we interact with our children that we're automatically going to get a response, a known response. Everything changes in the moment. And so we need to allow ourselves to have moments. They are moments. We have moments throughout the day. Sometimes that is taking 30 seconds for prayer, because you don't have 5 minutes, you don't have 10 minutes, you don't have a prayer room that you can go into and allow yourself the time and the space for quiet and peace. Sometimes it is just, Lord, I need you in my moment. Let me be present in this moment for you and you alone, so that I can be fulfilled, so that I can be refilled, because I've been pouring in the wrong way. And that's one of the things that we have to stop doing. We recognize that we pour into other people, but we need to learn how to pour from ourselves. Our cup should be full. And we understand that we have an endless flow from God in us at all times. I want you to imagine yourself as the vessel. If you are the vessel, you always have a plate. Whether you are a plant that is being watered, there's a plate beneath that catches the excess. If you are a cup, a coffee mug, or something of that nature, you have a saucer that catches the excess. And as God continues to pour into you, you have to recognize that there are things that He's pouring into you that will allow the things that aren't supposed to be there to come out. That overflow, those things are coming out. And so you pour from the saucer because it guarantees that your source is not tainted. But if you are not taking your moments where you don't recognize, hey, I need time for myself, I need a moment. It's just a few seconds to reset. It's just a few seconds to say a prayer. It is just a few seconds that you have quiet. And it may be literally 3 seconds that you get, but take your moments in order to make sure that you stay in the right frame of mind, that your thinking is in alignment, that your feelings are in alignment. One of the other things that you need to do is to actually set aside time with the people in your life to do things that add value to you the same way that you add value to them. A lot of times we say, okay, my kid has this activity. If you have a spouse, I'm sorry, y'all. The doorbell just rang. Forgive me just a second.
Listen, this is good. I don't know about you, but this whole moment that she's talking about, oh my gosh, now it's going to give me a reason. When I'll be honest, and most times when I am feeling a certain kind of way, or when I'm fussing at the kids, or they're doing something that is like, I will find myself where I'll pause for a quick moment, and I'll come back so that I can respond better. It's so funny. It kind of reminds me of what I teach my children about the differences between responding and reacting, right? Responding and reacting. And I share with them all the time, when you respond to something, you are taking a moment, you're thinking it through, and you're allowing God to minister to you and speak to you, right? When you're reacting, you're only going by self. You're only going by what self is saying, what self wants, and you're going to go off of emotion. And so when Tiffany is sharing with us this whole moments, listen, I'm sitting here like, and at first I'm like, I know she's not saying moment, but then when I heard you break it down, I'm like, okay, listen, let me tell you how that alone is such an important moment. Like you said, whether it's 3 seconds, I give myself longer than 3. I will walk away. I'm just going,
Mm-hmm.
listen, let me tell y'all a quick story. My baby, mornings for school is the roughest time in my household, because he is not a morning person. He does not like to get up and get ready for school at the time. And so he drags and he fusses and he cries and he fusses and he complains. So, of course, it was a lot of fussing in the beginning. And I'm going to use your word, because now I know what to name them. I will take moments and I will step back and I will just let them fuss. Now, my other children, they're mad at me. They're like, why are you letting him fuss? because if I respond to him in this moment, it's going to be out of anger and frustration. So I'm going to step back and I'm going to let you just whatever you need to do to get your day, because my overall goal is to make sure that you have a productive day. And I don't want to project my frustration and my anger because of the way you're behaving on you. And then you go to school and now your day is all discombobulated, right?
Mhm.
So I'm loving that you really put a name to it for me, because I'm learning to do that. Just pause for a second so
Yeah.
that you don't react and you don't say anything. You know how sometimes us as moms, we can say stuff. I said this, listen, I'm putting all my business out there and I don't really care. I said kids causes you to sin. Okay. Kids will cause you to step completely out of character
Yes.
because they be on some other stuff sometimes. So to prevent Latoya from be angry and sin not, I'm gonna start taking my moments. I love that. So I know that you had to go take care of something real quick, but now that you're back, please
Apologize.
keep going.
I was sharing that we need to make sure that we focus time on us with other people, that we invite other people into our space, the things that we enjoy doing. It doesn't mean that they're going to like it. It doesn't mean that they're going to want to continue to do it. But what it will help other people do is to recognize when we're taking time for our pleasure, taking time to regroup, taking time to enjoy, they recognize it and they can either participate or they will respect you enough to give you that space so that you can. Um, so those same moments that we're taking that are now more lighthearted, they're more entertaining for us, they're more relaxing for us. Invite others in, invite the people in your home, specifically your children. Invite them into your space and your time so that they then understand and respect your time when they don't want to participate. It's imperative.
That's so
Absolutely
good.
imperative. I want to go back to something you said, Latoya, when you were talking about your son and allowing your son to have his moment in the morning, and that's a challenging time for him, and how you didn't react. You've learned to take a step back. When we learn to take a step back, we're also teaching them that they have space to process. You know,
That's
a
good.
lot of what we do as mothers, when we're teaching ourselves, we are also in turn teaching our children. We're allowing them the opportunity to learn how to process their emotions, to learn to get through, to realign themselves so that they can get on with their day. Remember, you are the example. Be encouraged that you are the example, and the things that you want your children to have, start wanting for yourself and practicing for yourself. It will make you free
Come on,
because
coaching
you
coaches.
know that they are getting what they need, but you also have what you need.
So good. That's so good.
it's,
That was
it's balance.
That's good. Look at our self coach is in here. Listen, and we giving y'all these nuggets because we love y'all. Okay, I decided that in our community, I'm always the one coaching. It's time for the coaches to coach me. Okay, so this is my own, and I'm gonna say this: this is my own time to be coached. So y'all can
That's
take it in
right.
just like just like I'm taking it in. No, I absolutely love it. And listen, if you have not pulled anything out of this discussion today, moms, I want you to start implementing moments in your day. And I mean, like she said, even if it's a 3 second or if it's a 30 second or a 30 minute, learn to do that for yourself so that we can start inviting others. Listen, I'm taking notes. I don't know about you guys, but so that we can start inviting others into those moments and they can understand, right? The best part of communication is the art of understanding
Yes.
another person's perspective, whether or not I agree on it or whether or not I want to take it and embody it in my personal life. It doesn't take away from me taking the moment to understand it. I remember as a child when my dad, I used to tell my dad I love him, right? I love you, dad. I love you, dad. Of course, we're expecting for our parents to say, I
I
love
love
you
you too.
too, right? My dad used to just say, okay. And I'm not laughing to keep from crying because I don't cry about it no more. I'm good. I'm really laughing because it's funny. Like, that's not how you respond to your child. But he did. And it wasn't until I was an adult until I learned that he responded to me that way because his parents never told him that they loved him.
Mm,
And even until my dad, into the last days of my dad being here, I think my grandfather didn't tell him that he loved him until he was like 80 something years old.
wow.
So instead of me harboring, those childhood memories, I now say, but I understand. And
Hmm.
now it has allowed me to shift my perspective on how I love, how I talk about love, and how my relationship was in my childhood with my dad. So I
Mm,
think that once you get to that point where it's like, I don't want to judge, I don't want to assume, I just want to understand, it just changes how you show up.
it is huge. It is huge. Understanding is a really big thing in our household, and it's funny because I'm constantly on the stage of trying to understand my son. Communication is not easy for us. He has just now gotten to a place where he is openly expressing himself, his thoughts and his feelings. And some of those things, even though they're not appropriate, I'm celebrating because he's able to
Uh-huh.
do
Uh-huh.
so. But it's funny because I have to take a step back and allow him to express himself and then recognize his capacity. And
Mhm.
that's one of the things that we don't give ourselves grace to do. We don't recognize our own capacity. What can I do in this moment? What do I
Yeah.
have the strength to do in this moment? What do I have the patience to do in
So
this
good.
moment? What do I have just the mindset to handle in this moment? Because see, I'm overwhelmed. My child has got me to a point where I'm hot. He done said something out of his mouth. And normally, if it was me and my parent, I would have been popped in the lips for
You
having a
already
smart
know.
mouth. But I have to recognize that's not exactly what got the result that even they needed at the time. Yeah, it got me to shut up. But in shutting up, it caused pain down the line that now I have a problem talking about my issues or problems or concerns because I'm afraid that somebody just might pop me in my proverbial mouth. So understanding our children helps us to understand our own capacity. They can do, but what is it that we can handle? As you were talking about your dad, the reason why I say this is I recognize how my dad loved me. My dad loved me with money.
Mm.
And it wasn't until I became what was a couple months years old that I was finally able to accept that his capacity for love was different than my desire and my need.
So
So we
good.
have to be willing to respect desire, need, and capacity, but it starts with ourselves. Recognize what your needs are and communicate what your needs are, but give other people the same respect that you desire in terms of understanding what you have the capacity to give. It is okay to tell your children, no, not right now. I'm on overload. My son is going through this thing right now where Lilo and Stitch is his favorite show. He is all about numbers, and apparently they have numbers for the experiments that they have created. And I mean, he can list all of the experiments, what they were created to do. And I'm just like, I can't take anymore. You've given me like 15 of them back to back to back. And I've reached my limit. I can't listen anymore. So I need you to give me a little bit of time and a little bit of space. You can share a little bit later, but I'm on overload right now. And he understands when I tell him I'm on overload because he's like excited.
Mhm.
He
Mhm.
respects those boundaries that I've set and he understands it doesn't mean that you're not interested. It doesn't mean that you don't care. You haven't dismissed me. You haven't silenced me. I respect that you don't have the space right now. Moms need to take space. You need to take time and you need to be able to communicate what your capacity is so that it doesn't come out in the form of frustration. It doesn't come out in the form of anger. It doesn't come out in a way that communicates to your loved ones that you don't love them in that moment.
Listen, this conversation got me so I'm over here cheesing y'all from ear to ear on the inside. And it's because being able to share this out loud, it's to the point where I will tell my children, I am overwhelmed, and I need you guys to step back for a second. Only because, not to, give them, or to advance them, or mature them, or have a mature conversation with them, but so that they can understand that mommy is a person. Like, I'm a person first, and
Hmm.
I'm mommy, right? And
Yep.
I think that in our childhood, I think that that may have been one of the issues, is that we've always seen our parents go, 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 that
Hmm.
we never really took the time to acknowledge that my mother is a woman. My mother is a person. My mother can be overwhelmed. And two, because a lot of times our parents don't show us those areas of opportunity. They don't show us those moments of vulnerability. So we look at our parents as these superheroes, or these strong people, and we don't know that they're crumbling on the inside. And if I
Hmm.
come to my child, and if I express to my child that I'm overwhelmed, or mommy needs a break, then I'm letting my child down. Yeah, I've decided that I don't want to parent that way. I
We are
need
not
you guys
perfect.
to listen, and I need you guys. I'm in a house full of guys. I need y'all to leave me alone. And I am very quick to say, okay, y'all gonna have to leave me alone. Because if not, then again, like you said, so that you don't respond out of frustration, you
Hmm.
don't respond out of anger. I'm just loving it, because I'm hoping that it gives some of our moms a break. I'm
Right.
hoping that it's like, it's lifting a weight off of your shoulders, that it's okay to be human, and to be regular, and to process your emotions, and to process how you feel. Yes, you want to implement boundaries, and of course, you don't want to go too extreme with your children, but
Right.
let them see that side of you, so that as they're growing up, their expectations for adulthood isn't tainted or perverted. Because mine was, I said, nobody gave me this handbook on raising kids. Like, why didn't nobody tell me this?
Right.
But because I never really saw it in my parents, I guess that's what made me think that it wasn't as difficult. But baby, listen,
Take the S off your chest.
take it. Oh, I don't want it. I
It's
don't
an
want it.
E. It's an E. We are not super. We are exceptional.
I love it. I love it.
And each of us has a different journey as a mother in our homes are set up differently. Our children are divinely unique in everything that they do. You have multiple children. I only have one, but as you've talked about your kids are different.
They
And so
are.
we have to honor the differences in them. And we also have to respect that our motherhood journey is not going to be like anyone else's motherhood journey, but we can
Absolutely.
still take care of ourselves in the exact same way. We can serve ourselves the same way that we serve our children and benefit from that and allow our communities to benefit from that as well.
100%. Thank you so much. So listen, Tiffany, do you have anything else to share with our listeners before we close out today's episode?
So put yourself first. If not anything else, if you don't take anything else away today, learn to put yourself first. Take your moment. Take your moment. You've earned it. You deserve it. You need it. And we'll continue to talk about it.
Yeah, that moment part, I'm telling you, if you didn't pull anything else from today's episode, that moment, make sure you're taking that moment. I absolutely love that. And I'm so thankful for Tiffany for joining us today for the podcast. Listen, make sure you head over to coachmylife.com, learn more about Tiffany, learn more about how she may be able to help you if you're looking for that hands-on support and helping you really realign yourself so that you're putting self first, but you're not being selfish in doing it. Go ahead and reach out to Tiffany. Please make sure you're connecting with her on all social media sites. As a matter of fact, Tiffany, can you share your social media handles?
Yes, I am. I am underscore Tiffany Shoemaker on Instagram, TikTok, and then Tiffany Shoemaker on Facebook.
Absolutely. So make sure you're reaching out to her again. If you want to learn more about Tiffany, and what she's offering and what she's doing, make sure you visit us at coachmylife.com, and just connect with her. These are the type of resources that we want to make sure is available for you, as you really navigate through your life. So Tiffany, thank you so much for joining us for today's show. And guess what, y'all? This will not be the last conversation. Tiffany will be back Not sure when, we're not sure what episode, but she will be back. So make sure you are on the lookout for that. Thank you so much, Tiffany, for
Thank
joining us
you.
on today. So listen, guys, we are all set with today's episode. Make sure you head over to Coach My Life. Join our community. Make sure you're staying connected with us. We have coaches that come on each and every week to share more insightful information, tips, and strategies with you. Keep in mind, the Coach My Life Network is here to help everyday people. We're here to coach everyday people through everyday life. So you want to make sure you stay connected with us. I look forward to rocking out with you guys on our next show. And thank you for joining us on today. Have a fantastic day and be blessed.